So let's recap what we've been talking about. I said that we are the only continent that still need permission, passports, visas, special permits to visit, trade, study, or do business in our own continent. I made an example about a Chinese citizen who is allowed to traverse the entire Asian continent. Asia is the biggest continent in the world. And with a Chinese citizenship, you can traverse the entire continent except a few spots like Japan, North and South Korea, maybe Cambodia and India. But otherwise, you can go through all the 48, 49 countries without seeking extra permission. I told you about the Americas, the core which include Mexico and Canada. When you have your American passport, you can go through, even ID, you can go through in and out of Canada and Mexico without having to ask for extra permission. In Europe, I showed you my passport, my ID card, which I go through with it wherever I want to go. I can go and start a business anywhere, in France, anywhere I want to go. I can just go and do it. But in Africa, we are still restricted. And what is holding us back? Only one strategy to kill a black mind. It's called divide and rule. A divided home can never succeed. That's all they're trying to keep intact. So white supremacy is aware that Africa is reuniting and reintegrating. And all they're trying to do now is to keep us isolated, is to make sure we don't form part of that integration. Because if we do, their time is finished. Look at what happened to the French people in Burkina Faso. They were kicked out. So the only way to stay relevant is to incite black on black violence. We are not interested in illegal immigrants. It doesn't matter where they come from. But that's not our job to keep illegal immigrants out of the country. That is not our job. That's the government's job. We are not Home Affairs. We are not law enforcement. Why must we get used when it comes to black illegal immigrants? Why must they use us to kick them out? They must do their own job. They let them in. Where were they when the people were coming in illegally? Where were they? Why don't we have proper borders? Instead of stealing all the money they are stealing, they should be securing our borders so that we don't have illegal immigrants in the first place. So they mustn't cause the entire mess, and then to clean it up, they incite black on black violence. Be very careful what you do. The Africans, during apartheid, they accommodated our families. They accommodated our brothers, our fathers, our sons. They accommodated us during apartheid. And today you are the very people who are kicking them in the teeth. It's not our job to document them. The country must document them so that we know who is here and why they are here. If they don't have proper papers, send them back home properly to go and get proper papers. But don't use us to march in the street against our people. Let the entire continent know how the South African government treated them. But they must never point a finger at us as South Africans to say they're evil people. We accommodated them. When their turn came, they kicked us out. Let that not point at us. Let it point at government. Let them deal with the undocumented people. There's laws in South Africa. Let them apply the laws. And marching for undocumented people is not part of the law. So white supremacy will do whatever they can to remain relevant in South Africa. They own our land, they own the economy, now they own your mind. They can move your mind with a few R100 or a few R1,000 that you go and fight your own people. Don't allow yourself to be used. Don't allow them to own your mind. You need to own your own mind. But then let's look at why do we allow to be used by white supremacy. We are hungry. When people see money, they forget their principles. They forget who they are. We are hungry as a nation. So they know exactly how to trigger black people. Just give them a few cents. They'll do what you want. What would solve that is for us to start our own economy and ensure that we are never hungry again. I mean, how absurd is it that in the entire African continent, we are the only country where colonizers never left, where colonizers are still ruling what we do, where we live, what we eat, and how we think? Let's have self-respect. Let us not allow that. I'm talking about the third faculty of the university. It is admitting the older youth from 21 to 100 to try and solve this problem, to try and show us that what we have to do is to actually integrate ourselves with Africans and start our own economy. This is the own solution, not to kick them out, not to do the government's job of kicking out undocumented people. We didn't bring them into the country. We didn't let them in. It is not our job to secure our borders. It is the government's job. Let them do their job.